Nickelodeon or Warner Brothers or Nintendo on a platform fighter. This genre can stand, and the gameplay loop it provides can stand on its own 2 feet and thrive. And I think that's what Rivals of Aether does so well, is that it creates unique design ideas and lets them stand on their own 2 feet and be interesting and be cool. And I think Eliana and Forsburn exemplify that to a very, very high degree, because it's about unique.
I have opinions about Forsburn, but yeah, definitely. It definitely exemplifies a design. Speaking of which, getting into it, MSB versus Sethix on Jules Vale. This is I don't know, if any non-Rivals players have seen a character from Rivals, it's probably Forsburn, because Cake Assault, our #1 player,
pretty good.
It's pretty good. Yeah, no, he's kind of like mid, Penguin clears.
What I think is so cool about
let's go Soul Rifle.
I think what's so neat about how a lot of Forsburn's meta in specific has developed is that all of the Forsburns slowly and steadily starting to realize that they can't play like Cake. Cake plays in too much of a near robotic,
Cake just Cake just does stuff, and it's. I have opinions on Forsburn. Forsburn, I think, is kind of from the way that he's played optimally. It's he really just kind of wants stray hits and to camp in smoke, and personally I don't find it very engaging to fight against, but it is an extremely unique playstyle and just such an interesting concept, like you said. It kind of is part of that DNA that makes Rivals unique, is just you have all these wacky characters who can 3-stock you while you don't even understand what's going on. Sethix with game 1, MSB getting completely dumpstered. Yeah, there we go. Switching to the Kragg.
Yeah, it's the Eliana can have it. Excuse, not Eliana. Oh my God, names. Olympia. Gee, thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Olympia has a heavy offensive game plan that can center around Crystal and the space that it provides, and can create some genuine control over not pulling the trigger. But where Forsburn can really counteract that is he air-to-airs so well. So while his combo game can, as you were mentioning, can be kind of 1 to 2 hits, or can extend into the 3 to 4 hit range and be done.
If you're Cake, just 0 to deaths. But yeah.
That's where Cake is different, and what what brings me to the point I was trying to make a little earlier. It's really hard to replicate Cake because he's able to find the pickups off of Forsburn's incredible movement so well. But you can take pages from Cake, like his 1 to 2 hit conversion or his unique traps, and create it to your own mobility-based playstyle. In the case of Seth, he plays all in your face and forces you into guess scenarios, rather than someone like Spiker, who's more about optimizing off of movement and baby dashes and all of those, where Cake is more specific type of following DI and making a hard read in order to close out a stock at an early moment with a deep back air. This is very much looking you in the face, patting you on the nose and say, do something about it. And once you do something about it, you get blown up.
Yep. It's
we spent all this time talking about Forsburn.
Yeah, we haven't really been talking about the match.
MSB is
this is kind of old guard versus really new guard. I mean, Sethix is one of those players that has really gotten good since I stopped playing and stopped really commentating, so it's really interesting to see him on winner's side of top 8 of RRM4. It's just completely crazy. Against MSB, one of the absolute greats of the game.
yeah, consistently a top 10 player and just putting on a show of how oppressive you can be. I mean, there was smoke covering the entire screen, which is a...
That's what you have to worry about against Forsburn, is if he has smoke, like, everywhere, and he's in smoke, you pretty much have to treat it like he is everywhere and nowhere. You can't just whiff a move in neutral, because he's waiting there in smoke to pop out and, like, boom, plat drop nair, boom, like, fair dare, something like that. Getting an F tilt, anything that can kind of open you up and potentially kill you. If not, get you off stage, get you in a bad position. Stuff like this. Like, you can see Sethix just kind of waiting in smoke, and,
yeah, at any waking moment, Seth is pulling smoke, because that's the plan, and especially
that's
dangerous
what you do as Forsburn, is just
sure.
If you have a chance, you press that B button. Great parry on the down B. So some very good position for Sethix.
And MSB trying to pull Rock in order to get rid of as much smoke as possible.
Great
and pivot.
Cancel, like, the edge cancel there is crazy.
Both players showing awesome stuff, teleporting between smoke.
Teleports, oh my god. Great down,
MSB
strong read, gonna be even stocks, but Kragg's at 124, and you just... Okay, he's living, apparently. This is...
That's Kragg,
usually,
right?
MSB is pretty good at surviving at these high percents, but against Forsburn, who can just kind of kill you like that, not really how I was expecting the kill, but if he can just whiff punish on a down strong, he kills you. His edge guard is fantastic. That F cape just stuffs out side B, and it can be kind of a nightmare. And
hell of a trade in order to find their back air onto the side B from Kragg, and it had so much knockback thanks to the percentage. MSB just went nowhere and had no pillar in order to make it back. Seth applying so much pressure, sticking to a mobility-heavy game plan, as forcing MSB to decide between getting rid of smoke and trying to deal damage, like splitting the concentration into so many ways, as you were mentioning earlier. Like, smoke can mean that Forsburn is everywhere and not there at the same time, which is
you have to treat the entire smoke bubble like Forsburn is there and not there. It's a very interesting thing to fight. Again, I have my opinions. I don't think it's very fun, but it's very interesting. Fire Capital, I'm surprised we're seeing MSB counterpick to these big stages, because it just gives Seth a lot more room to play with. I guess MSB's game plan is kind of to run away, pull Rock, and get these huge conversions like that, getting his stock pretty early on. Maybe I shouldn't have doubted him. This seems to be a good pick.
Yeah, I think that something like while Frozen Fortress offers Forsburn a lot of movement offensively just as much as it does defensively, Fire Capital gives Kragg the upper hand when it comes to specifically vertical extensions. So if you're not going to be able to consistently and realistically get rid of all the smoke at all times because of how frequently Seth is pulling, then try to win the war of attrition. Make Forsburn close out your stock at 160 plus every single time. Which, MSB did pretty well on Frozen Fortress and is doing just as well here, but making up for it with some extra value at Fair Train, almost closing out the stock.
Man, it's kind of messed up that, like, the entire community was convinced that Forsburn had a bad recovery for, like, 6 years.
I mean, to be fair, he did for a little bit.
He did, but
then it got way better.
Yeah, his recovery is so good, and like that change happened in like 2020, where he got his jumps back, and that
yeah, that's insane.
Yeah.
That alone dropped his recovery from like bottom 5 to top 5.
Yeah, no, I straight up would consider it a top 5 recovery. Wherever Pro Double Sushi is now, he's yelling at me, but
it still has faults and it still has flaws, and Kragg can exploit them decently well.
Ooh.
Oh, but all of that smoke, where it really shines is being able to go off stage more proactively, because you pull smoke, go off stage to chase, like you see Seth doing in order to try and hunt down the pillar. You saw Seth pull smoke, then go off stage, because you know you guarantee your way to make it back, as MSB can't get rid of the smoke while he's off stage with you.
Yeah.
Doing it defensively has a lot more innate counterplay, but it natively gives a lot more offensive pressure, which is something that Forsburn didn't need, but I'm gonna enjoy it because it's amazing.
Oh, he needs it. I think he's allowed. This is the last, not the last, but this is pretty much the end of Rivals 1 as the main competitive game in our community, and at this point, I think the character meta has been settled enough to, like, hey, he deserves it.
Yeah, why not, right? It's cool, it's fun, and it's flashy. That's honestly
these characters are very good and all very silly, and
that's what makes it fun.
Exactly. Speaking of silly right now, Kragg, okay, and that's what
that's called
another a downside of Forsburn's recovery. Forsburn always being in smoke anywhere and nowhere. If you can get a hard read of when he wants to teleport through smoke, great fallout on the up strong. That move is gets harder and harder to connect as more people are good at, as Drifty Eye keeps improving. I guess it's kind of at a, yeah.
Yeah, up cape is amazing. The up strong after, a little bit less so, which is why you see Seth, he was relying so much on up cape into down strong as a means of popping out, but you don't fall victim to that. If you don't fall victim to that on key percents, like you're not a floatier character.
There's the up air.
Then
yeah, this is
fall by the wayside really quickly.
Suddenly looking really good for MSB. This could be a kill here. Drops it, but
yeah,
Seth does not. Seth is at a very, very high percent deficit, especially against Kragg, who is pretty much at mid% at this point. Well, no, not anymore. But all right, this is going to be a tough recovery. MSB makes it though.
Yo, the stall with the rock shine there, like you're pulling in midair just for an extra little bit of stall and to fake out any sort of movement, getting Seth off his back.
MSB's Kragg recovery, that is very unfortunate. Seth just kind of says, all right.
Suddenly we're at a game 5 set on the cusp of a reverse 3-0.
Into the fire. Yeah.
MSB changing up the game plan and go back to Fire Capital. Interesting pick here from Sethix. Let's see if it
again, I'm not super surprised. Like, he does get so much stage control on this stage. It's just MSB is able to throw that rock a lot more, and Seth has been kind of having trouble with it. It's such a versatile projectile that it's hard to not have trouble with dealing with rock. But
I mean, it's right now sitting where it is. It threatened the existence of all the smoke on the lower half of the screen, on the lower half of the stage. So Seth had to wait in order to make it full, and now we get to see all the smoke come out. Seth actually starting to channel into his win condition. Smoke on two halves of the screen. Finally, MSB removes part of it, and it's just so focused on like hitting spots where that are going to have a high hit percentage, rather than specifically trying to chase after ghosts.
Yep. Speaking of chasing after ghosts, this is a very, very slow game here. MSB, yeah, they're really just seeing who's gonna bite first, which you can't blame them really. This is game 5 in winners, and in top 8 rather. You really want to maintain that winner's side.
Yeah, as a...
Oh, that fair, the bad DI on it's gonna be the first stock taken for MSB. Seth gets some stage control here, but does it really matter when Kragg's at 50% and you're down a stock?
Lapped in percent.
Already lapped, yeah.
Every MSB's changing game plan started on this stage, and it looks like it's going to end on this stage. Focusing
you got hit by it! You got hit by it!
Value
you
interactions.
You can't get hit by that!
He's kind of forced
to. That's the 2015!
Yes, right? He's forced to try and like make something happen. Meanwhile, MSB can either very comfortably play the war of attrition, or now that he's up his stock, just play the weight game. Oh my, Rockshine looking for the tech base after that down air. That was clean. MSB starting to strut his stuff. Love to see that. Seth got a chance to show off the combo video a little earlier. Ooh. Now it's all the Kragg show. Go for it. Oh, just planting the rock instead of looking for, again, those high values. The reversal dare. Twice over.
They're just both trying to kill each other. Please. Just one of you die. There you go. Now he's punishing it. Sethix with another lease on life, but this is really bad. This is very bad for him. Pulls the super clone out. I think he knows what's happening. MSB with a 3-2 victory over Sethix. Oh, that was such a set.
Sometimes you get to kick the ball around. That is Kragg as you like loop around him, thanks to his low mobility and very comboable body, weight, and gravity, and all of these different attributes. But sometimes when you end up down a stock or in these war of attrition like games,